What is going on? We're back again with another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the MLB Lockout situation. So if you guys don't know what the MLB Lockout is, basically there's this thing called the MLB Collective Bargaining Agreement, which we can see on our screen right here, which is shortened for the CBA. Basically, after a certain amount of years, however long they sign this deal for, it will eventually expire and they have to come up with a new one, right? And this is all the rules that they use for these 5 seasons. For example, like we add another postseason team to the playoffs, so instead of 5, we have 6 teams now in a new format. This could be luxury tax thresholds that we see every year. Kind of, you can see the penalties on it, because the penalties get significantly if you've been in it for multiple years, or they raise it. They kind of discuss that. But it's all like the rules that the fans are not going to see up front is basically in this agreement. And the current one expires December 1st of 2026. So we have the 2025 season and then the 2026 season, and then they're going to negotiate again. And this did happen in 2022 where we almost missed games, which a lot of people were going to be really mad at. But that's when the current CBA expires. That's basically what it is. All the current rules that they're going to be using for these 5 seasons, these 4 seasons. We'll kind of see how long the next one is. I don't really know kind of how they decide how many years it's going to be, to be honest. But I guess they choose at some point. So this tweet came out a couple days ago from MLB Trade News, and Evan Drellick says MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred is pushing for a salary cap. The MLB's current labor deal expires December 2026, and Drellick notes that the players are skeptical about adding a cap. Now, the thing with Rob Manfred right here is he's kind of the middleman. I'll kind of explain how it works, right? So we have the Players Association with Tony Clark. Tony Clark, he's played in the league before. He's the big black guy with the white beard. That's basically Tony Clark. He's the head of like the Players Association and is in all these negotiations when it comes to CBAs, and he's trying to get the best deal for the players. Then we have the owners on the other side, right? All 30 owners, they have their wants and needs that they want, and they basically tell Rob Manfred to go get it for them, right? So Manfred's in the middle, where he's got to appease the players, but also he's got to appease the owners. The owners are the ones that put him in power, right? That's how you get an MLB commissioner, or any commissioner, is the owners pick who they want to put in. That's why if you see any sport or league, they always get booed, because they're always in the best interest of the owners, right? So that's basically how it works. So the salary cap is a huge discussion that they're going to talk about, and a salary floor could come up too. I mean, we've heard that a lot. I think with the Dodgers spending a crazy amount of money, and we see the Mets spend a ton of money, and the Yankees, right? All these teams are in the postseason now, and they're all pretty good. And there's always the phrase, you can't buy yourself a World Series, but I feel like we're seeing a lot of these teams get closer and closer to that. And I don't know if a lot of people thought last year the Dodgers did that, but you never know. There's a lot of talk about Reddit about this, by the way, like on the Reddit, the MLB Reddit and baseball Reddit. As someone says, we're going to witness the longest lockout in MLB history on the CBA. We'll kind of see. I'm not really sure if that's going to happen, obviously. And there were a lot of comments to this. I mean, these posts get a ton of comments, by the way. Just of people giving their, kind of input and thoughts. The top one was doubt it. So I don't know. We'll kind of see what people think. I think we're definitely going to miss some games, in my opinion. I could definitely see a 162 season becoming a 150 or 140 game season, in my opinion. It kind of just depends what the teams want, and everyone's got their thoughts and opinions in the comment section right here on kind of what's going to happen. But obviously none of us are in the rooms and in the discussions, so we really have no idea, to be all the way honest. So this was another one too. CBA negotiations will be an utter war, which is kind of funny this guy puts. But like I said, we'll kind of wait and see what happens. I do think there might be a stoppage. I know in 2022 we didn't have them, but we were close to getting them. And if we go to this site right here, we can kind of see the baseball work stoppages in the past. It's a really old site, as you guys can tell, but it basically goes like kind of the reasons that happens in the past with strikes and lockouts and all that stuff. And you can see it's been way worse in the past, right? I mean, you missed 86 games, which is insane. It only took 14 days, 12, 17 days, 8, 50 days, and look at all the games. I mean, it's absolutely insane. I mean, look at the longest one. I think 95 was the longest one, which is absolutely insane, which was the whole strike. But when you look at actual lockouts, they haven't missed a lot of games, which is good. But the strikes definitely have. So we'll wait and see. I mean, the 2020, 2022 one wasn't horrible, but it definitely got close. I'm not going to lie. I think that's what some people are talking about in these whole discussions. I feel like it can get a lot worse than what we've seen in 2021 and 2022. And we'll kind of wait and see what happens with this whole salary cap situation. Me personally, I don't really think it's needed. And we kind of see about Jeff Passan's tweet right here. I think it's a really good one. It says the best records in MLB, and we can see the teams: Detroit, the Cubs, Milwaukee, Dodgers, Toronto, Houston, and Philly. And he goes on to say high revenue teams, mid revenue teams, low revenue teams, no dominant teams, a wide open postseason. What a fun year. This is totally true. We saw it last year as well. There was not really a crazy team that was over 100 wins, right? No one really was. It was right around like 90 to 99, right? And we're kind of seeing that this year, I feel like. a lot of these teams are not spending a ton of money. I mean, the top 3 are all under 200 million. The bottom 4 is all over 200 million. So it's a very interesting question of, do we really need a salary cap? With the Dodgers spending the most money, they're still not the best team. Obviously, it's only 2 games and we still have a ton of the season left to play, right? But it is definitely a talking point. We can kind of take a look over here at Sport Tax. They have their payroll. I don't know if these are 100% accurate, but I'm just going to use it because it's the only little reference I could even find on the internet. But basically, we can kind of see the Detroit Tigers have the best record and they're spending $148 million. Look at Milwaukee, 112 with the second best record in baseball. The Cubs are just under 200. The Dodgers, as reported here, is 341 mil. And we kind of see with Toronto, Houston being over 200 mil. I mean, look at the Mets, 331 is insane. The Phillies, the Yankees almost at 300 mil. Red Sox, 191, finding ways to win. But there are teams that aren't spending a lot of money and are winning. Look at Seattle, 152, they're in the postseason currently. The Rays are almost in the postseason, spending 89 million. So shout out to the Rays for figuring out. The Reds and Giants are on the fringe of the postseason. They're obviously drastically spending different numbers, right? So it's a very interesting talk. Do you have to spend the most money to win? I would say no. I think if you have a good team and you drafted a good team, I mean, you can definitely win. It's happened in the past, right? And there are teams that have been the most expensive that buy payroll and have definitely won the whole thing. So that's definitely been a thing. Look at last year, for example. Look at the Marlins, for example, when they were able to win. It's an interesting question. My personal take on the salary cap, say the Dodgers have spent, because I've heard the Dodgers spend reportedly 400, like plus 400 mil. Say they spent 400 mil in 2025, right? If we come into, 2027 or whatever, the salary cap's like 350, then it's like, all right, I feel like that's where it's not needed, to be honest. But the salary cap was like 450 or 400, then it's not as bad, right? Because then the teams can figure it out and, they can still spend more money if they wanted to. But I don't think it's that bad. But if it's like 350, then I don't know, because then you're limiting the players' ability to get paid. We'll see if there's a salary floor too. I mean, that's what the players are going to argue, obviously. I mean, you can take a look at some of the bottom feeder teams, right? I think the lowest team this year is the Marlins, and they're currently at 67 mil. So I personally think if the salary floor, I mean, looking at this season, right, and they'll obviously use next year's data as well. Like, if you put it at 70 to 90 mil, like some range in between that, I think will be good, because then it would have the team spend money, right? Like, for instance, if it was 70 mil, the Marlins would have to spend 3 mil on a player. They can go sign someone for 3 mil. They could give a bonus to someone for 3 mil. I kind of think it's good in that sense. Well, it can't be too high. It can't be like 100 mil, because then they got to spend 40 on some player. But they could go out and sound like the best free agent, right? So it just kind of depends where they kind of go with the salary floor and the cap, because I think that's going to be the biggest thing they're going to debate when they go to this whole CBA discussion. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below about this. Would you like to see a salary floor? Would you like to see a salary cap? And if so, what would you like it to be at, right? What were the numbers that you would like to be at? Like I said, if it was at 400 or 450 and the floor was at like 70 to 90, I think that would be perfect. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, everyone.